Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. What do we have behind me? Well, this is the first run of Dark Dimension 7. Is Boilon ready for Dark Dimension 7, you might ask? He is not. However, I am close, and the fact is that actually I'm very close to having like 10 to 12 characters upgraded like very soon. A lot of what I'm missing are the 800k gold uniques because I haven't been going out of my way to buy them. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the strategies that I've been employing in order to, get further along in terms of my red gear, because let me tell you that even though I haven't started DD7, I do have a crap ton of red gear. I just haven't utilized everything because I'm kind of waiting for the things to fall the right way. We'll talk about that. We're also going to be talking about my picks that I currently have and why, and some other ones that you could consider as well. I would believe that this video is going to apply both to Dark Dimension 6 and Dark Dimension 7. So if you are someone who is still in the Dark Dimension 6 era, a lot of the characters that I'm going to be talking about are characters that I would also recommend for 6 anyways. It's just, if they're good for 7, they're basically good for everything else. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. And so I wanted to start here in the supply store. Why? Because I want to talk about my strategy for red gear. Some people have been asking me what I do buy and what I don't buy. And to be honest, I actually buy a lot of things. What I don't buy typically is 800k uniques, unless it's osmium or something else that I'm using 3 times or more, which really is only like, I think osmium and maybe alien spores. I'm not sure. But for the most part, I typically do not buy these kinds of uniques. Also, I do want to point out really quickly that for those of you who are light spenders, they are starting to appear in the Strike Pass. So, for example, Penny's Strike Pass will have 9 fortified chromium, which is actually quite a bit if you are using these characters or planning on it, because 9 is half of what you need. It's also a fair bit of gold, honestly. 800k times 9, I mean, it's 7.2 million gold. So the value here is quite a lot, and including the other red gear in here as well. So it's a good bang for your buck, so to speak. And I believe the one before this was Pavitra, Spider-Man Pavitra, I think, with titanium alloy, right? Because I think I did get that one. So that helped me get the unique for Pavitra, and we'll talk about him because he's one of the characters that I'm planning on bringing in. But nonetheless, I do buy almost everything. I am slowing down a little bit on Origin gear, on some Origin gear. One thing that I am definitely buying is these Crimson Basic Catalyst parts. I'm also buying Health and Focus Catalyst parts whenever they appear. I'm actually fairly short on them. I don't know why, but they almost never appear, it seems, when I need them. But I am buying Origin gear that I'm short on. I typically will look at the Dark Dimension 7 planner, though, and I'll use that as a good way of gauging how much of this stuff I need. And of course, I am always buying minis, because you're going to need at least, I don't know, it depends on how many you're using of each character, but probably about 300, I want to say, at least, of each of the ones for each origin. That being said, it does cost a lot. How much did I just spend? I think I just spent, like, I don't know, 600k, 1.4 million in that reset. I do spend a lot more than most people. I spend about 3 to 4 million gold per day on this. And so when it comes to leveling up my other characters, I still have enough to level up my other characters, but I'll admit that I don't have a lot to play with when it comes to what I would say luxury characters. So that's why I have skipped Dakin and Pandapool for Mercs for Money. Unless there's a reason down the line, I'm typically avoiding characters that I don't have a necessary need for them right away. So I took my Spider Society to 100. I will be doing Alpha Flight because I'm going to be using them as Spotlight raised daily. But for other characters that are kind of more PvP centric, I'm not really going to spend a lot of time with them. Old Man Logan was an obvious exception because he's just OP everywhere. And the other reason why I don't buy uniques is because they do just kind of fall, right? And you might notice this just by opening, every time you open 10 of these red orbs, you'll get anywhere from like, there, I just got like, how many did I get? 4 uniques. Now they are random, right? I can't choose which ones I get. But nonetheless, this is a savings of like 3.2 million right here. So for every 10 orbs, I get anywhere between 2 and 4 uniques. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do, and so over time, every single day I'm getting this stuff, I'm going to get how many I need, because I only need 18 per character. And for some of the characters, I only need 18. Now, for the ones that I do need like 36 or 54, like Osmium, I will be buying them out of the store, but those are the exceptions from that. Otherwise, I just let the orbs kind of fall how they will when I open them, and that's going to help save me some money because, again, they're just got two miasma. That's great. I have 22 miasma, which I haven't really equipped yet, but we'll talk about that as well. So, some good things that can happen out of these orbs if you're lucky. And I guess maybe I've been a bit more lucky than most. Anyways, let's move on to the actual characters that I want to talk about that I'm thinking of. Now, we're just going to start right off the bat. We're going to go all the way across. I do actually, before we get into that, I want to talk about my roster and sort of where I'm at in terms of the characters that I do have at this point. So I do have 3 characters upgraded. That's Super Skrull, Black Knight, and actually Apocalypse is right here at the top, so I kind of missed him. So these 3 characters I do have right now. So that was Mutant Gear, that was Bio Gear, and that was early skill gear here. And so I do have a lot of tech gear lying around. I have a lot of Mystic gear lying around because I'm not one of those people who actually upgraded Ghost Rider Robbie to G19, even though I could if I were to upgrade him to 100. That being said, what else is my miasma going to go towards? It's going to go to Doom at least, probably because I'm going to have to take him to 100 and take him into the Mythic section. Not really too sure, but I don't want to really jump the gun on the miasma just in case there is something that's coming. Who knows, right? Like before I finish that I might want to end up putting on. Maybe there's something next patch, right? Like who knows? But Ghost Rider Robbie is not someone that I personally am taking into City just because I feel that Secret Defenders are sliding a little bit and there's kind of more important things in my opinion, which is what we're going to talk about now. So my City choices, honestly, I do want to use as many Spider Society characters as possible for a handful of reasons, honestly. They're very good in Cosmic Crucible. They are very good in War right now. There's the whole War season just dedicated to them in Hero Spider-Verse characters. They also are in the Spotlight raids, and they're also in the main raids. They're honestly basically everywhere except for Arena, so I want to get them as high as physically possible. Spider-Man Noir is Mystic. The rest of them are, unfortunately, they use primarily skill gear, although Peter B. Parker does have one red piece that is bio. I was thinking of putting all 5 of them in there, honestly, but I'm not sure because I need to start using my tech gear. I do have a lot of tech gear because if we go into my Vulture, you can kind of see actually I have like almost 200 minis of each of the tech gear. I really need to start using some of these. So that's why I think that I'm kind of doing that with Vulture. Next Strike Pass after this one is going to be a Panda Pool Strike Pass, which means that if you do spend on that pass, you're going to get 9 Crimson Hammer Tech. So that's probably what's going to bridge the gap for me to be able to take Vulture in. So within the next week or 2, I'm going to start like upgrading a crap ton of characters at the same time. So Vulture is going to go up in the not so distant future. Spider-Man Noir can basically be done. That's the problem, right? Like I have a lot of these uniques that I have like anywhere from 8 to 12 of, and I just don't have enough to finish. So as soon as I get the Ballistic Weave, I can upgrade Noir, and then I believe the Spider-Man Pavitra is probably going to be my next Spider Society character because I already equipped the unique piece because it gives a crap ton of stats to him. Because when you equip these, I've mentioned this in a previous video, but it's called like Gear Tier 18.5 or 17.5 from the other era because the amount of stats you get is actually well beyond what it says here. Because the Stark Tech just carries it. It's somewhere around like 4 to 5 times this kind of stats. So that's why I equipped it early because I knew that I was going to take him. So I'm just kind of waiting for a little bit more skill gear. I need 54 of both of them, so it is a little bit more to go for Pavitra, but nonetheless, I will be doing that pretty soon. Now, as far as my other characters go for global, we do have your Extreme X-Men 3, Nightcrawler, Gambit, and Forge. And at this point in time, I do have 23 osmium, so I do need 13 more to finish all both of them. I think I will use Nightcrawler. I will upgrade Nightcrawler first, though, because I am using him in Arena. Believe it or not. That's a completely separate topic, but yes, I am using them there. And Forge, I do have the Uniques for already, I'm pretty sure. I think it's just really fallen that way for him that he's just got lucky that I have those that I need for him. This last spot was... I heard that if you don't use Sunspot with the Extreme X-Men, it does get a bit challenging because Sunspot is very good in Dark Dimension and things like this because he gains charges, right? And those charges carry over even after he dies. So basically, every single time he comes back into action, it's going to be like 10 charges. And so all of the Extreme X-Men are going to get full energy. And that's kind of why I do want to take him. However, I do not have the Astral Energy. So it really depends on, when I'm going to be entering in this 5th slot character and what I want to do with that. Ideally, I do want to take in Sunspot, but whether or not it's going to be possible and whether or not I'm going to have the Astral Energy, which I recently used to equip Apocalypse is another thing. I could start buying them out of the store if I see it, so that could be one thing to push it up a little bit faster. As far as my mutant minis go, I actually have most of what I need. There is a current leaderboard going on right now, which is going to award another 50-50 of the G19 mutant minis, and so I'm going to basically have enough to do all 3 of these characters. I can already upgrade Nightcrawler and Gambit. The one problem that I have is actually I do not have enough of this Crimson Cytoplasm, so I need to buy more of this Origin Gear piece, and I'm still buying quite a bit of mutant Origin Gear pieces in general because I do need quite a bit of them. So if I add another mutant character on top, then like Sunspot, for example, it's going to be a fair bit more. And that's why you saw that I did have in that slot, I did have Guardian. And the reason for this actually is because, where the hell was he? Should be like over in here somewhere. Where are the Guardian? Guardian, where are you, Guardian? It wasn't here. Down here. Okay, he's not properly sorted because they haven't really done that yet. But anyways, he's a tech character. Guardian is a tech character, and what I do like about Guardian's kit is that a lot of his things actually apply to all characters, all allies. And of course, he's for Alpha Flight, and which is going to be for Spotlight raids. So I don't have him unlocked yet. I am going to have him later on this week. But when you look at his passive, for example, he has on spawn, bury yourself, and all allies. It's not restricted to Alpha Flight. Also, same with apply offense up and regen to self and all allies. I do like this part. A lot of the passives of the stats obviously is applied to the team. But there we go, offense up for 2 turns, things like that, and that's just upgrading, the initial passive, so he's getting all that to the full team as well, and the max barrier again an extra 10%, so that's gonna be 20% on spawn to all allies for barrier. So there's a lot of cool stuff. He's got some really great negative stats effects as well. Defense down stun on his ultimate. He can do some flipping, and it has extra focus, and his special does apply defense down and slow, and then gives more offense up to all allies. So again, very nice character in terms of his buffs and debuffs, which isn't really specific to him being in the Alpha Flight team. And he's a tech character, because I feel like they've been giving out a lot of tech gear, and that there hasn't been a lot of places to use it. So Guardian is definitely under consideration right now for global if I have to kind of do someone else that's not Sunspot. Ideally, that's my plan, but we'll see how that ends up shaping up later on. Anyways, now let's moving on to Cosmic. What I hate about Cosmic is there really has been like little characters released in the Cosmic section for quite some time that are kind of credible. This is what I have right now for the Cosmic section. It's the Eternals, Vol, Void Knight, and Kang. Again, I really want to utilize more of my tech gear. However, Cosmic tends to be a section where you do use a lot of your Mystic pieces. The reason why I'm considering the Eternals is because I don't really want to do one and not do the other. So it's kind of, for me anyways, I feel like it's all or nothing, or both or nothing. And the alternatives just really isn't that good, because now that we can't use Super Skrull, we can't use Dormammu, I'm limited really to characters like Deathpool potentially. I have even Kestrel we can't use anymore because of Mythic, right? So there's very, very little options here. Deathpool, Photon, which I really don't want to do either, and the rest of the characters are just, in my opinion, pretty garbage. Like there's Cosmic Ghost Rider, okay, so that's probably the only non-garbage character that you could consider, but I never really went super into Out of Time. And so I don't know if that's something I really want to do. It would be able to use the not teal miasma, but I had the red miasma sitting around for Ghost Rider Robbie that hypothetically I could pull in for Cosmic Ghost Rider. But that would just be kind of replacing the Eternals, because I think I'm pretty set for Kang, Vol, and Void Knight. I think I'm pretty okay with that. But it's just whether or not I end up doing both of the Eternals. Keep in mind that Icarus is also Astral Energy. So I was already talking about that regarding Sunspot, which means that Astral Energy, if it appears in my store, is something that I will be buying alongside Osmium. Those are probably the 2 ones that I have the most amount of characters for that I'm going to need to do that for. So this is what I want to do. I guess we'll see next patch, like, because every time a new patch rolls out, I'm like kind of just eyeing characters up. I'm like, are any of these characters useful to replace any of the existing ones in my plan, basically? And that's when I kind of go on a month by month basis when it comes to Dark Dimension. Now let's talk about Legendary. I think a lot of this is pretty obvious. I think some people would say that Doc Ock is very heavy in the tech gear, and he is, but I seem to have a lot of it lying around, and I can do most of this stuff right now. Doc Ock and GGC, so let's go over my GGC. I could upgrade right now, actually. In fact, he's 2 diamond. Did I buy 2 diamond on him? I did buy 2 diamond on him, so I could take him to the Gear 19 right now, but he is Experimental Formula, which I'm going to be using for Peter B. So I'm not going to quite do that right now, and I don't really need to. Anyways, I'm just talking about all these characters that I could upgrade right now. I have so much gear, especially tech gear lying around, that I could upgrade a whole crap ton of characters. Kang, I could upgrade right now as well if I only had the Crimson Quantum Energy to upgrade him too. So I could be in Dark Dimension 7 right now had I had the uniques for the characters that I need to upgrade. It's just because I haven't been directly buying them, and so therefore that's why I'm in the situation that I am. But very soon, it's going to be just a snowball of characters that I'm going to be upgrading. Now, I do have Black Cat, Old Man Logan, pretty obvious. Old Man Logan is just OP as all hell. And Morgan Le Fay. Now, I was debating, yeah, I know what people are saying. It's more osmium, right? Unless Shuri gets a rework, because there is that Black Panther Shuri coming, that's more tech that I could probably make use of. I don't really want to. The options are limited. I Red Hulk, but I have 2 diamond on Morgan Le Fay, and so I just kind of want to make use of it. She also has really good debuffs when it comes to things like Dark Dimension, so I'm comfortable doing it, honestly. Does she have less value? Yeah. But I mean, I think so do a lot of the characters on this list. Honestly, Rogue, Red Hulk, Nova, they're all characters that in my opinion, have very limited value as it is anyways. And so at this point, I think I'm going to have a lot more Mystic gear lying around. And I think with the problem of it being osmium, other than that, I'm perfectly okay with doing Morgan Le Fay. So that's not really a problem for me there. And then, of course, the last 4 characters we do have. This is pretty obvious, I think, as well. I think everyone's going to be pretty much doing the same thing. You're basically down to Doctor Doom or Dormammu, and I feel that Doctor Doom scales a little bit better if he can stay alive a little bit longer for things like time platform and whatnot. It's still a really nice skill to have. And then these 4 characters of Apocalypse, Skrull, Kestrel, and Doom. So if we were going to look at my total materials required, it's pretty interesting. If this is accurate anyways, I'm not sure if it entirely is, but it doesn't look that bad. But one things that do point that kind of pop out to me are my catalysts. Those are things I was talking about in my supply store purchasing gig of what I do. So I'm buying, actually I throw damage catalysts in there as well. So anytime I see damage catalysts, focus catalysts, health catalysts, I always buy that. I also need about 2,900 more Crimson basic catalyst parts, so I'm about halfway there. So I do need a little bit more, so I'm still buying that. And then I do not tend to buy the armor and the resistance ones. In fact, it says I actually have enough of the armor. Resistance ones, I don't think I do. I'm pretty sure I'm not finished that. But I don't know where it is on here anyways. I can't be blind. Maybe it's in here somewhere. You don't typically need... Oh, I do need more of them, actually. In fact, 447. But I'm halfway there. And so I don't know if I need to buy too much of this because I don't want to buy it now and then not need it later, kind of thing. Because traditionally, you don't really need a lot of the armor and the resistance. It's mainly the other 3. Specifically focus on health is a lot. But it does seem that actually even the damage, I need actually more damage than the other 2. So that's a little bit surprising. So there it is. That's the gear left over that I need to do Dark Dimension to clear. And it's not actually all that much. I think a lot of this is just getting the right uniques that I need to start upgrading my characters, because like I said, I have a lot of gear lying around that I probably have enough collectively to have about 10 to 12 G19 characters. I just haven't put it in because I'm missing the uniques. But as soon as I start hitting that, the 18 for the uniques, the characters, it's going to be like floodgates opening. I think I'm going to get all the way through the first section, city and global. I might end up getting blocked at cosmic though by that point, and but still some pretty good headways that I'll be able to make very soon. So I wanted to give this update because a lot of people were asking me what I was doing with my Dark Dimension 7 plans, and I hope that some of this helps for people who are also thinking about Dark Dimension 6 and what characters that they need to bring in for their legendary sections and some of the other ones as well. I would take any of these characters that I mentioned in here to all of the other ones. So I hope that this helped, and this will be the end of my Saturday video. Otherwise, have a great rest of the weekend, everybody, and until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.